from this slightly different angle. And he says, being yourself. And so this is a wonderful subject to explore this month because, of course, when we get to know the question or the answer, who am I? Then we are able to actually be ourselves. And I think we've all had that experience at some time or another where we felt so comfortable that we could just be who we are. And it's a very, very lovely feeling. It's like we come home to ourselves. And also, we find that when others are just being who they are authentically, we also feel very comfortable in their presence as well. And so I'd like to start this morning just by reading to you the very first page of this book. And this page is entitled Waking Up. So Mike says, in the physical dimension, in the universe of your bed, while you sleep, you dream. In your dream, you believe you are awake, only to be awakened from your dream to discover you were really asleep. In the spiritual dimension, which is the universe of your consciousness, which is you, while you believe you are awake, it's really a dream. You dream the world because you filter it through your perception, which is largely shaped by your ego, which is an unreal version of yourself. This ensures you will create an unreal version of everything and everyone else. What you believe is real is unreal, but you don't know it. Your consequent suffering makes your waking dream often seem like a nightmare. The nightmare is tolerable until it's not. This ensures that one day you will start to question the nature of reality. As you do, you will begin to awaken from the dream that you thought was real. How fast can you awaken is not the right question. How do you know when you are awake? This is the question. So, a beautiful philosophical entry into this topic of being yourself, meaning the self that belongs to you. So we know that in today's world, we are bombarded by so many things that actually take us further and further away from this authentic self that I think we all thirst or hunger to experience. And it takes the form of the movies we watch. You know, when you watch a movie, how you're able to identify with a particular character, very often the hero or the heroine, and you start to experience what's being projected onto the screen. You may shed some tears. You may feel happy. You may feel afraid. And so we know it's an illusion, but it's like a double illusion. And so it's the movies, even the songs that we listen to. We listen to the lyrics, and perhaps they make us feel sad, or they take us to a memory that we once had. And of course, social media, that's a big one, isn't it? We're bombarded with how we should look, what we should eat, where we should be seen, and the list is unending. And so I'm just highlighting some of the things that we're exposed to that draw us away from our real, authentic self into being what society perhaps considers a successful self. And yet, so often, even when we do become successful, there is this question, why don't I feel the happiness that I thought I would? And so we're embarking on this journey in the month of April to explore and see if we can find the obstacles that are in the way. Mike says what's in the way is the way. And so when we discover what is not the real self, it helps us then to come back to that beautiful true self. So before I pass you on to Brother Go, who will share some of his thoughts on this important topic, I'm just going to close with another quotation from the book where Mike says, have you ever wondered why you seem to be a different person in the presence of different people? Have you ever noticed how often you look for others to affirm who you are? Have you ever asked yourself, has who I thought I was changed? If so, who do you think you were? And who do you think you are now? Have you ever listed all the things upon which you base and build your sense of identity? So, thoughts to ponder. Over to you, Brother Go.
Om Shanti. It's wonderful actually to ponder with such kind of patience, like finally what you put. But at the same time, there is another way of also seeing the self. Actually, in my past journey, before I came to the knowledge, I was trying to see everything with my naked eye. What I perceive actually, I thought it's everything is wrong, but I realized that when I came to knowledge, I realized that what I perceive, what I see is what touches me or what I felt is just my decoding. That means with my own past experience or my journey life, what is in the consciousness is really decoding everything. And then it's not really true. That means it's my own creation of the reality what I have seen. So, and most people nowadays also, they just see themselves just even by the mirror, and then they're worried about what's happening on their physical body. They become even more conscious about their wrinkle or their color, their physical appearance, fatness, thinness, and everything. And that also comes because definitely the society and the teaching around us, and also the relationship with others, define all those features, the wrinkle, the fatness, the thinness, in so many different ways. Then definitely what we see in the mirror, but what touches the intellect, when the consciousness is, or what I'm feeling in my consciousness is still my own understanding about the world, what I am really preconditioned of. I predefined everything because of my journey. So, and then now it's the question that what I'm seeing, do I really see truly myself? And do I have really the capacity to see myself in such a way by mirror or by my relationships? And then that is a question also, which is actually, we have to take in this sense that definitely the other way of, a bit better way of seeing the self or seeing myself is like with my eye of the intellect. The eye of the intellect is, for me, even though Mike is defining it his own way, but for what I understood is the third eye of knowledge, the knowledge of the truths which I retain in my intellect will define what I am seeing in the world. So that means the third eye of knowledge is something which is very powerful, which helps me to properly to see the world. But again, this is a paradox. What I am seeing still is my creation. You know, my creation. It's not really who am I. So what I'm seeing, if it is my creation, who is the creator? The creator is me. So the creator is an observer, or somehow we have to see that we are completely different from what's happening around us, or even what's happening in my consciousness. So then I am the observer of what's happening really inside my consciousness. And then, but it is a bit, needs more clarity. And what is, Mike says, what is in the way is believing that what I have seen or what I perceive or what I feel is, that is me, is really, it is on our way not to experience ourselves. So, you know, the point of being an observer or being really seeing that I am really the seer, it's not what I'm seeing. So that will help somehow to really to see it in different way, or somehow it gives you a bit of freedom to notice that you are the observer, really not the chaotic things around you, even the pleasure things around you. You're just an observer. So this much is enough, I think, for the introduction. And I will pass you to Kalpana Bey.
Thank you, Brother Go. So I think following on what Sister Belinda has said and what Brother Go has said, one of the aspects which we also will go more deeply into is actually knowing ourselves. And I think what Mike sort of outlines is a very clear sort of awareness that when we really know ourselves, then the experience will be complete, authentic experience of the self. So it won't be with perceptions, with past old beliefs, or it won't be filled with fear, but it'll really just be who we are. And something it reminds me of, as I was, reading in his book, they talk about unconscious ignorance. So when you are doing something and it's maybe not the right thing, but you are unconscious of it, so you just, carry merrily on and do it. So you experience, the outcome of that. And then you move to a stage where you are actually conscious that you're making a mistake or you're unaware. And again, you kind of experience certain things. Then you move to another level where you become consciously aware of your mistake and you're doing something to rectify that mistake or that weakness. And then later on, you reach a point where it becomes an unconscious knowledge or an unconscious awareness. So that means you're starting to use the tools about yourself and being conscious and being aware, but in a very natural way. So you're not even aware that you're doing it, but you're just naturally acting from that space. And so when I read this, it reminded me really that what Brother Mike was sharing, that actually we go through these phases, and we will reach a point where we become unconsciously aware. And that is then the experience of the authentic self. And so really just to know that this is a process. I mean, we're not going to achieve it, day one and the first time we tried. And I think this is the beautiful thing where I think where Sister Belinda and Brother Go alluded to this element, that what is in the way, what we encounter in our day-to-day experiences, the people, the situations, actually are the means to help us to know ourselves, to recognize maybe where our weaknesses are, and to start very consciously to almost like research that and not become analytical, but in a sense just to observe it so that we can use it to kind of help us see what is causing my reaction, what is causing my feeling of not feeling adequate or not feeling self-confident. So all these little things that come our way are actually then aiding us to get to know who we truly are and observe ourselves. And I think it's a beautiful journey, and not to be afraid, because I think when we fear, it's almost as if we stop the journey. And so encounter each scene, accept it, and, kind of move along. And I love this idea also where he talks about the ultimate freedom. And that freedom is realizing that you don't need to be free in a sense. It's almost like you just have to accept, the strength of who you are. And live in that strength, like an acceptance, which is a natural acceptance. And an analogy which sort of comes to mind is, look at a tree. A tree never thinks, oh, I have to give shade to this one. I have to give shelter to this one. If it's a fruit tree, that it offers its fruit. So the tree never thinks of what it has to do, but it has that natural ability to just do all of those things because that's its nature. And as people, I think we lose sight of that, because as our perceptions dictate to us, as our old beliefs dominate our thinking, we start to just work from that premise, where my perceptions are telling me, okay, do this, or because so-and-so did it like that. And so we lose that trust in ourselves. And, this journey of knowing myself is to be able to remove those barriers, those perceptions, those beliefs, and start to really step into my being and just knowing that inside of me is some uniqueness, and it's different to another person. So I don't have to be somebody else. I don't have to try and emulate somebody. I can learn from them, but I can really be myself because I have a uniqueness. And I think this is like the celebration of you and your authentic self. And then the other element, of what is in the way is that, all the mistakes perhaps that we've made on our journey, sometimes we think, I wish I didn't make that mistake. And I'm sure when you think back, you think, oh, I was so foolish when I was maybe younger, or I don't know why I did that. But as you reflect back, all the things that you did as you journeyed on this life actually helped you to then make the next decisions and guided your life forward. So in one way, just to think that every step that you've taken, even sometimes in unawareness, actually helped to bring you to a point where you then started to be more conscious of yourself, your mistakes, maybe your shortcomings or weaknesses. And then you were able to say, okay, I can do something about this. And I think that's the hope. I think Leola had mentioned something, that we all look for some hope, some kind of, rainbow at the end of, the sky. And we want something to give us direction. And so I think within ourselves, we also look for that. And knowing ourselves means that I journey on this road of life, and I discover those little signposts, which help me see myself, and help me see my weaknesses, but also the possibility of shifting those weaknesses and developing a strength through recognizing my weakness. And so I wanted to just share like my own example, that I remember very early on when I started working, how you become so impressionable, where if somebody says something about another person, you kind of take that on. And I had a little encounter with a colleague. And so this person had said something to me about this person. And in my mind, I kept that, thing about that person. And then I had a little, run into them, and, they were very upset with me, and they said, how could you do this? And, I had a whole kind of rundown of all the things that I shouldn't have done. And then I reflected, I used my morning meditation to just reflect and see, why did I have that encounter, that run in with that person? And what I realized was that I had allowed somebody else's perception and experience of that person to influence me and to create that negative, thought or feeling for that individual. So in my morning meditation and reflection, I just said to myself, okay, I'm not going to hold these perceptions of this person because this is the first time I'm encountering this person. So I'm going to just keep my own perceptions clear and clean. And this is a workspace. So if I'm told to do something, I will do the best that I can do. And if I have some difficulty, I will be honest to the person and share that with that person. And I found that as the time went by, the relationship got better, and the person developed a sense of trust, in our working sort of situation. And many years have gone by. I don't work with that person anymore, but there is a level of friendship and trust. And I feel this was only possible because I was able to, reflect and see where I actually went wrong. Not that person's fault, but actually me. And when I discovered that, it released me from so many things that I held in my head, and so I think it's this journey of really knowing how to let go of things, and in that way we can sort of really help ourselves and really use the opportunity that is our obstacle to actually be our gift to take us forward. So I'm going to end here, but I'd like to invite anyone who'd like to either ask a question or make a comment before I share a little meditation. So let me invite you, anything that you'd like to share or anyone wants to ask a question, you're most welcome. Okay, everybody seems quite at ease. So let me share a little bit of thoughts that will take us on this beautiful reflective experience. So sitting quietly, just allow your body to relax, and any tightness in the muscles, just gently from the feet, let go. And as you let go, let the feeling of complete peace enter the feet, moving upwards, just letting go of any thoughts, any anxiety, anything troubling you. Just gently let go. Perceptions of yourself, of the mistakes you've made, of the things that may have not worked in your life at the time. Just let go. And as you let go, just feel like something very heavy is off your shoulders, out of your head, and gently allow a vibration of stillness and peace and light to move into your physical body. And let this feeling of lightness move up to your stomach, your chest, your arms, your shoulders, just releasing anything that's holding you, making you feel tight or stressed. And even the muscles in your face, just let them relax. And as your entire physical body becomes completely relaxed, step into the pure awareness of being just light, so weightless. And in this space of feeling your own lightness, there is not a feeling of emptiness, but a beautiful feeling of fullness. You are a sparkling star, a star of wonderful possibilities, a star of unique qualities and experiences. This journey is a unique journey. And as you interface with other stars along your journey, each star you encounter enables you to shine your light even brighter. The stars, that is the people on your journey, are not there to make you feel less of yourself, but they are there to remind you that you are unique, you have something wonderful to offer. And so as you take your cue of seeing each person who you encounter, be it your family, be it your friends, be it your colleagues, be it a stranger that you've never known, all of these people are beautiful reminders of you being very special and unique. So take this wonderful feeling from them. See them as your guiding star, as your guiding light. Learn from them, but don't take on that feeling of sadness or sorrow or pain. For those are just little indicators that sometimes make you aware that you have awoken. And so this journey of life is really like being in the galaxy of stars. So if my focus is on being that star, I will not get caught up by being the little ant on the ground, feeling fearful or feeling worried. But I'll always remember that I'm like that star, and my purpose is to shine bright, and especially in the dark night sky. So just like the world going through its own phases, difficulties, it's like the night sky. So I, the individual, am like the star, shining bright to give hope and direction. So keeping this beautiful awareness with yourself, very gently remind yourself of being this light in this physical body, but know your purpose and guide yourself in this day ahead of you to be that shining light. So very gently, just see yourself back, aware of everything around you, but with a renewed energy of hope, of wisdom, and care. Om Shanti.
So thank you, Sister Kalpana, and thank you to all the presenters this morning, Sister Shirley, Leola, and Brother Go and Sister Kalpana. And we look forward to meeting again on Monday morning. Have a lovely weekend.
Shanti, thank you.